I want to create this Guru Destroyer 9000 that you just can't compete with. The foundations, the offer stuff, the niche stuff, the mindset stuff, the truths. Here's how things actually work, and now you can build from that.
He's built a real business empire using YouTube as the engine. Charlie Morgan.
The thing that I've observed with entrepreneurs is they all fall apart and die and end up being blown to smithereens, because to get to that point where you're liquid enough to live that lifestyle, you have to work obscenely hard, but then you start enjoying all these rewards, which then takes away from the work, which then after a while destroys the business.
Well, I'm looking at these kids who are like in their early 20s. That money, when I was 20 years old, 21, I would be an arsehole.
Being a billionaire is like, that's the highest level of the game. That's what I'm sort of optimizing and engineering my entire life for. It's like walking on a tightrope. One misstep and you're dead.
What have you realized so far, the pursuit of becoming a billionaire?
The key thing, and I think the big advantage, the big moat it gives me around the business is...
Quick pause, guys. I need to tell you something. It's that time of the year where everyone's on the winter arc hype, where they're building their physique, which they plan to reveal at some point in the summer of 2026. But I hate to be the guy that says it. Most of you are going to end up getting fat. You'll be overeating. You'll be following some sort of a program which isn't actually going to be getting your results. You're going to be improvising on the spot, no doubt. You won't be tracking. There'll be no structure, just random exercises with minimal progress seen on a week-to-week basis. Pretty frustrating, right? Well, that's the whole reason why I built the Thirst app, to help busy people like yourself find a system they can actually stick to over a long period of time. We have thousands of transformations from men and women who just plug into the app and get the exact plan they need for their goals, show up to the gym, and just put in the work. All for less than an hour of their time. You get access to over hundreds of programs and hundreds of different meal plans, everything which you could possibly need to get yourself in shape. So if you actually want to stick to something and see results without taking things to the absolute extremities, click the link in the bio. Let's get on with the video. Charlie Morgan, welcome to the show. Finally, we made it happen.
Yeah, we've been trying to do this for what, like 3 years now, I think?
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been like dodging you for like...
Is that because you just not really wanted to do podcasts, or
I think it's because I never had anything to sell. So... No, I mean, it's like, I've had a bunch of requests for like, since I moved to Dubai especially, loads of podcasts in Dubai obviously, and I've just always had the habit of saying no, because I've always been like super busy, or just haven't felt like I'm ready to show my face to the broader world, except then like YouTube started popping up. Yeah, it's now I've got this, I can actually... Yeah, there's a reason to come on.
Put one whole year's worth of work into that bad boy.
Yeah. We want to get straight into it? Yeah. Okay. Well, what do you want to know? It took a year.
Well, like, why would you put 1 year's worth of work into something and then give it away for free?
Well, the initial plan was not to do it for free.
Okay.
So I was gonna I had this big idea. Okay, I'll tell you the story of how it came about, and then I can explain why it's free. I was thinking back. It must have been 3 years ago. So I was already at that point, I'd already had a lot of success with the business. And I always had this sort of dream idea of just taking everything that I had learned and everything that I knew, which albeit in the whole scheme of things is very little, but to get you to start or build a little business is somewhat significant. And I was like, what if I just did that and then made it free? Mm-hmm. And I had this little exciting idea for a week or two. And I was like, no, I'm never going to do that, because obviously it doesn't make any sense. And then school came out. And I was like, actually, this could make a lot of sense, because, you could monetize it through school. And I knew school's whole plan for premium products, VIP. And so I got to building it about 3 years later. And I thought it was only going to take me 2 months to make. I was like, this is just beginner stuff. It's going to be easy. It's going to be straightforward. And it ended up taking, 12 months. And by the time it came around to launching, around 6 months into the build, I was like, this needs to be free, because I feel like there's a few reasons. First of all, a lot of people have done free courses before. A lot of people have done free training, free courses, but they've never been something you'd expect to pay for, if that makes sense. So one bit of feedback we get from the academy is people will post and be like, oh, I thought this would be 4 or 5K worth of value. And so the main reason I wanted to do it is because the way the program
You want to fuck it up for everyone else.
Well, there is that, but there is an element of that. There's a couple of reasons. First of all, it's a great funnel for my high ticket stuff, and we've already had hundreds of people book sales calls for Easy Grow, for Action Nirvana, for the mastermind. We had a mastermind client who paid us a shit ton of money to do some coaching, who was like, yeah, I went into academy, it looked great, so I was like, I'll just buy the mastermind. So the funnel was the main reason, but the second reason is to sort of cement the idea that like try and beat me now. Because like there's lots of competition and there's lots of people out there, but I was like, I want to create this like Guru Destroyer 9000 that you just can't compete with. Like the only way to now beat me in the long term would be to make a better product and to make it less expensive. But that's impossible. So the only way to do it is make it better, which means you have to put more time in. But the key thing, and I think the big advantage, the big moat it gives me around the business is because the way I've approached it is it's kind of like the program teaches like the truth of starting an agency coaching consulting business. So it starts with the principles, like the fundamental, like first principles, like the truths of like the foundations, the offer stuff, the niche stuff, the mindset stuff, the appointment booking, the sales stuff, like the truths. It's less about like the actual tactical, like do this, do that. It's more about just like, here's how things actually work. And now you can build from that. And the cool thing is because I'm the first to sort of do that, the truth is the same for everyone, but because I'm the first to make it like sort of accessible to everyone, I now kind of own the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw this with Hormozi, because Hormozi owns the truth for offers. Like whenever someone tries to make an offer training, it's very hard to make a really, really good offer training without pulling something from Hormozi's 100 million offers, if that makes sense. Because he just listed out all the first principles that will never change for everyone and made them available and accessible to everyone for like $1 or whatever it was. And so now Hormozi sort of owns that element of the truth. So no one can really attack him from that angle. So I want to do kind of the same thing. And also I think as well, like the future of info and the future of this sort of internet marketing game, for me at least, is whoever has the best free course will win. I think that's like the ultimate thing. I'm just going to grab some water there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Because especially now it's, I don't know who was the first person to do it, but it is becoming increasingly more competitive.
Yeah. What, the whole make money online space?
Yeah. And the whole like build your personal brand.
Yeah.
Let me teach you how to do it. And I think you mentioned it as well in some of your videos, how back in the day, if you did a little bit of flexing online, it was way easier to stand out. But now,
no, mate,
just the sheer barrier to entry is you need at least a supercar, watch, maybe a couple other things, and then that qualifies you to enter the market.
This is kind of like the thing with the you see this a lot with the Forex industry and also the OnlyFans management industry, like the trading industry, the crypto industry, and also kind of like SMA, but not so much anymore. It's like the guys that get the attention are the guys that, like, there's a guy, I don't know his name, but I saw some guy bought a Lamborghini worth like 5 million. And then there's another guy who has like a 10 supercar collection. And it's like the only way to get like people to look.
Is that the guy in Miami?
Yeah, he's in Miami.
Yeah,
I don't know his name.
CN. The
Lamborghini, the green one. And someone sent it to me, and because they know that I don't do the flex marketing thing. And you look at it and you think, and you know, those people, they make a ton of money. But the only way to enter that space is to get to that point. Because I know loads of people that have like a 100 grand Lambo or like a 458 Spider or like a nice Rolex. But you see like the sort of Dubai lifestyle vlogs now, and you see these guys on the peripheral just sort of fading away, even though their lifestyles are like madly impressive. There's just this like obscene like hedonistic race to the top now for like who can flex the hardest. And it's got to the point now where like the only way to beat those guys is to have like a supermodel girlfriend and a Bugatti to sell a course. So I'm sort of thinking of that. I don't want to do that. So it's like, why don't I just make it free and just beat them on value? And I think that that's really happening. I've already seen loads of messages, like people send me screenshots of like coaching conversations, people being like, oh, you should try this, and like, just do the academy, don't buy this, just do the academy instead. And it's like, we won't see the effect of it being free and being as good as it is for probably about a year or two. But I think by that point, I think that the sort of B2C biz op market, like start a business, make money online, is so massive and so vast, and there's so many new people coming into it all the time that I'll never be able to like monopolize that with just free value. But it's the people that have come in, they've bought a 997 course, or they've bought a $50 a month, Discord community, and they're sort of, I call them B to wannabe. That you've got B2C, which is brand new to the space. You just want to make money. Then you've got B to wannabe, which is like, you're not really a consumer, but you're not really a business owner yet. But you're sort of on the self-improvement game, and you're sort of trying to get clients, but you're not quite there yet. Then you've got B2B. The academy is for the B to wannabes. and that's a smaller market than B2C. But we'll see. We'll see. It could be a huge mistake. But I think for the long term of what I want to do with other projects down the line, it's a big.
Well, fortunately for you, you've made a fair amount of money, so it's not like you're going to be struggling. Like what you made since you entered the space, you made like 40 mil or something.
Nearly 40 mil, yeah. We started with we started with an agency, got that to 100K a month.
When was this?
This was 2018.
And this was in the UK or
yeah. So I went to uni when I was 18, as you do, and then that would have been 7 years ago. No, longer than that now. I'm 27 now, so like 9 years ago or something.
Which university?
Plymouth.
Nice.
Yeah, man, it was shit. It was shit, man.
Why?
Because like I went to. Okay, so it's actually quite funny. When I did GCSEs, I got a C in maths. Because I was never very good at maths, and I really wanted to go to Exeter Uni to do psychology.
Yeah.
And so like I went to the admissions process, and they were like, "Look, to get into Exeter or Bath or Bristol, or one of these Russell groups, you need at least a B in maths at GCSE." So I resat my maths exam during my lunch breaks of my A levels to get a B. I got a B by some slim miracle. I don't know how I did it, 'cause I was not good at maths. And then last minute, I watched the Ty Lopez ad. Like right before I think it was like probably July, like before September, before you go. And I was like, the entrepreneurship thing. And I'd already committed to uni. I was in my mind, I had that like confirmation bias. I told everyone I was going, and I was like, I'm going to university. And so I switched my course last minute to this 2-year fast-tracked entrepreneurship and enterprise course in Plymouth.
Because that was one of the only few places.
Yeah, it was like, because I was like, where can I study entrepreneurship at university? Because I had to Google what an entrepreneur was. I had no idea. So I went there, and I had these like super high expectations of it, and like Plymouth it left a bit to be desired. Let's put it that way. It's still got some nice parts, but as far as the university and education was concerned, like it was just what you'd expect, right?
Yeah.
And then I dropped out after like 6 months of that, because I was like, yeah, this is
classic.
Yeah, I mean, I dropped
getting taught by lecturers who
this was
not actually made
literally, man. Literally, the reason I dropped out is because I was reading. There's a book by Lord Alan Sugar, the Lord. He has a book called "What You See Is What You Get." It's like his autobiography, and I was reading that whilst I was doing this first like 6 months at uni. And in the book, it said like, you need to learn, if you want to be an entrepreneur and be successful in business like me, you have to learn how to sell. And I was like, right, that's a pretty critical piece of information there from an actual billionaire. Like, I'll go and ask the university about it. So I went to my.
Can you teach me?
No, I went to my tutor in the uni. I won't say his name because it's obviously a small faculty in a small uni. And I asked him, I was like, when do we learn how to sell? And he sort of like closed the door, sit down. Like I was like, okay, like sat down. He was like, well, let me be honest with you, Charlie. We don't have a sales module or course in the 2 years you're with us, because none of the lecturers have had their own businesses, so they don't actually have any sales experience. I was like, oh, okay. I dropped out the next day. I was like, I went back to him with the forms that I printed off, and he was like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, it's going to be a huge mistake. What are you going to do? I had no idea what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I tried to like start some businesses at university that had not gone very well. And then after that, I was just like, all I know is like, there's a really good quote I like from Charlie Munger that says, all I want to know in life is where I'm going to die, so I never go there. And I knew like, I didn't know what to do.
You knew what you,
but I knew what I shouldn't. Yeah. I knew that university wasn't going to get me any further. And I've spoken to a few guys from that same course, and of the I don't know how many people were in there, maybe like 40, 50. Only a few of them have gone on to do anything like significant with business. So
it's weird actually when I think about some of my friends or people that were in my class at school, and even university, that on paper performed the best.
Yeah. No, it's like, mate, it's ridiculous. Like the whole, when you do your GCSEs and your A levels, and you think it's like, I don't know, do you have O levels back in your day?
No, I'm not that old.
I'm just taking the
I did the GCSE and A levels.
Yeah.
I worked my ass off.
No, but I was like,
this, the harder I work for this, the more money I will make. But it was more so university, like, because when I wanted to go, I don't know why I wanted to go to Nottingham, but I needed 2 A's and a B. And I didn't get the A in maths
Shit.
So I
You
got
Trent instead.
at A level. I got A in geography,
Yeah.
B maths, B economics.
Yeah.
So my second choice was Newcastle.
Yeah.
So then I went to Newcastle, but that ended up being great.
Yeah.
In the end,
I just think like I remember like doing A levels and doing GCSEs and like GCSEs and like I remember sitting my SATs when you're in like year 6
Yeah.
and all. I mean that I think it's good to have kids exposed to some sort of pressure, even if it is of an academic nature. But I think like my brother got his A levels back, got GCSEs back, and he did quite well. You know, he worked really hard and stuff like that. But I said to him, I was like, if you want a business and if you want to do your own thing, there's no client or person you hire or business partner that's going to ask you for your A levels.
Mhm.
Like I've hired like 50, 60, 70 people at this point. I have not once asked for anyone's qualifications.
never asked for a CV.
No. Well, you can ask for a CV, but that's just a formality. That's just to see if they've actually put some effort into a piece of paper. You just sort of skim it and then just watch the loom that they've sent instead. But it's like, no, I just think it's like, and I think people are becoming quite aware of that.
Yeah.
If I was going to go back, I would do like an apprenticeship. Like, you know, in like a marketing apprenticeship or something, and just sort of expedited that learning process. But, you know,
Well, even I think now, if I was to go back, because I did enjoy university,
yeah,
I should have just done sports science or something. I mean, at least I would have used that.
yeah.
Like, I definitely didn't use mine.
I guess all's well that ends well, though.
Yeah.
You know, because I look back at it and think, why did I do that? But then it's like, oh, it turned out all right
Yeah.
at the end, you know.
So you basically, after that, became not necessarily obsessed, but you wanted to learn how to sell.
Yeah. Yeah. So that
how
was,
did you teach
so
yourself?
I then, I kind of followed that advice where like I finished, I dropped out and then like I kind of went home with my tail between my legs to my parents. And my dad had a very much an "I told you so" face, because he didn't really believe in that entrepreneurship course. Now I'll get my parents are incredible for this, and they never once rubbed it in my face or tried to shame me or make me feel bad or anything. They were very supportive and very sort of, right, we'll get you back on your feet. And I felt like I'd failed, because I was ultimately like, shit, I've shit the bed here. Like, I'm just gonna be a failure because I can't even do university. And then what I did is I had 3 jobs. So I got 4 jobs. I worked in Clark's HQ, Clark's Customer Care, you know, the shoe brand.
Yeah.
Because their headquarters are in Somerset, where I grew up. Then I had 2 bar jobs, and I also worked in a golf course, like serving people. I was working like 100 hours a week just to like.
You were doing them all at the same time?
Yeah, just to like, because I felt the need to like compensate for my failure.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know, I just felt awful, and I was like, so my routine would be like, I'd have the Clark's HQ, like, it still rings in my head, like, good afternoon, Clark's Customer Care, Charlie speaking, how can I help you? Like that I said that, I must have said about 10,000 times. Then I'd either in the evening, I'd go to either of the pub jobs, and on the weekends I'd do the golf course and then go to the pub in the evening. I did that for like 6 months, and then I got really ill. Like, I burned myself out like to the absolute extreme. My mum then sat me down and was like, right, you've proven that you can actually at least be useful and, you know, carry some weight here, you know, doing all this stuff. So that's when my mum sat me down, and we made the decision that completely like changed my life, where things really got good, which is doing the apprenticeship that I did in sales. Because I was ranting about this Lord Sugar guy to everyone, I have to learn to sell, and I was like, I didn't know where to start. And then I found this apprenticeship, and that was like insane. But what about you? You went to university, you did 3 years there?
Yeah, I did economics and business management.
Yeah, how was that?
It was weird, because the first year nothing counted to the overall degree. So it was like, so basically all you need to get is 40%, like a pass. So I was like, what's even the point in trying?
Best year of your life.
Yeah. So all I did was go out and party. This is when I actually started going to the gym religiously. So I had free time, and I actually met I think it was 2 or 3 of my friends who were like really into it. So they taught me everything, or at least everything they knew. Yeah. So it was class. It was just like I would go to the lectures and things that I needed to go to.
Yeah.
And then I managed, actually, I didn't even pass the statistics exam. So I had to go back in the summer to pass it, just so that I could get into the next year.
What, for first year?
First year, yeah.
Jeez,
but the problem with that was I just didn't learn the foundations, which was required to then learn everything else after on top of that. So I think the second year, everything was 25% of the degree. And the third year was 75%. And then it got to third year where I was like, I don't know anything.
I said this to my brother as well, because when he was doing he's 18. He won't mind me saying this. When he was doing his A levels, I was like, look, mate, because he wants to have a business. And I was like, look, the way that sorry, I need to drink some water. I've got this out.
Yeah, like in university, similar to you, I went there because I wanted to learn how to run a business.
Mm.
And then very quickly I realized it was just all theory.
Yeah.
Like the amount of maths and equations.
Mate, we did this.
I was like, why am I learning this again? I thought I'd never have to do math again.
We did this accounting module for like 2 months, and I haven't used any of that in my business once.
Yeah.
But like, anyway, why do my throats like fuck? It's all the cigarettes in New York, man. I'll tell you. For the record, I don't smoke, so that's fine.
Yeah. So, after that, I think I just about got a degree.
Yeah,
but it was nothing.
Did you get like a 2-2?
It was a third. It was really
almost,
bad.
It's so bad that you almost don't want to tell people you went to uni. Like,
I used to lie to people and say I got a 2-2. And I remember my dad had a conversation with me. He was like, "Well, what are you going to do now?
You can't get a job.
There's no big company that would look at a third and be like, oh yeah, okay." But it ended up being a blessing in disguise because I technically had a degree. I was qualified to work as a manager at Hollister, which I didn't realize. If you wanted to be a manager at Hollister, you needed a degree. I was like, I have a degree.
A 2-3.
So
it's almost worse to put that on your CV. Like, yeah, I went to uni, 2-3 though.
So yeah, I was a club promoter for a little bit. Then I was a manager at Hollister for a year and a half.
Yeah,
and then I did loads of little side jobs that got me a bit of cash.
How'd you get into it though? Like the business thing, the influencer thing.
Well, it was personal training first. My housemate became a personal trainer. There was like 7 of us living in a terraced house in Newcastle.
Classic.
And he said he was becoming a personal trainer, so we did the qualifications. Then he was literally in a gym all day. I was like, that sounds fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So how do I do that? So I gradually phased out of the job at Hollister so I could still make money. I used all my holiday days. And then at the same time, I was doing my qualification. So I did that and then immediately just started coaching people. And I think this was around about the time where Instagram was getting some traction.
So you were there at the beginning.
I would actually like to say I was an OG fitness influencer on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then, so I grew pretty quick on Instagram.
It's a clever.
Couple 100,000 there, but I never really capitalized on the online side of things.
Yeah.
I was still doing a lot of one-to-one coaching.
I feel like back then, no one really knew that you could.
No.
Followers were just like, oh, he's just famous, but it wasn't like there was no way to convert anyone into anything.
It was, I think the thing that took off first was ebooks.
Yeah.
And then after ebooks, there was online coaching and everything else.
I have a question. So when you, where did you grow up?
Leeds.
So when you go back to your hometown, like, obviously everyone must know what you do and like who you are on the YouTube. Like, how do you find navigating that? Where like you go back and it's like, oh, it's Big Mike, like he's back. Is it like a celebrity re-entrance, or are you just like, because it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you go back and you think like everyone knows what you're doing and who you are, and no one really says anything, but they know that you're aware that they know.
Well, because the good thing is I don't have to update people with what I'm doing because everyone's just watching.
Yeah.
But there was a part of me, and I think even they thought that, or maybe he's changed and he thinks he's too good for everyone now.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if they had this element of thinking that. But then the times when we do have this sort of reunion, like every year we would do the Headingley Mile, which is like the Otley Run, which is a bar crawl where we all get together and just get pissed.
Yeah.
So I would meet up with them, and then if anything, they were really happy for me.
Yeah.
And there'd be the odd jokes that were being thrown around, but that's just like British humor. Like everyone just grills everyone. But it was largely pretty well received.
Yeah,
I think because I would come back and I was literally behaving exactly how I was behaving when I was 18.
Yeah,
like just
I think a lot of people, like when people see people you used to know see you online, or anyone online, is if they see anything like remotely like a car, like the amount of people that my mum's friends who have been like, is Charlie selling a scam? Because but it's understandable, because it's like, that's like when you see someone, a young guy on social media making loads of money, talking about making loads of money, and then having like a course or something, it just in their brain it's just scam. I had this with the Dubai video I made.
Oh yeah,
which I'm sure you want to talk about.
Most viewed video.
It's crazy, man. It's actually wild. But that got in the Daily Mail, and so like that gave me this insight into the sort of boomer demographic. Because my mum and my dad, they're in like 50s, 60s, and they had so many people of their friends message and be like, "Is this Charlie? Is this Charlie?" Because they'd read the Daily Mail and they'd seen like the Manchester Evening News and they'd seen his reports. And I was like, oh, that's how you reach those people, because like they're in there.
Was the article sound or was
Yeah, it was. The article was actually fine.
Okay.
I read through it because I was worried, because I was like, obviously they didn't ask,
because they might over exaggerate everything.
No, they kind of just quoted it pretty much word for word, and it was. I found it really interesting that video went as viral as it did, because it didn't. It felt very niche and very specific. It felt specific, because I thought only people who had lived in Dubai would watch it, and then it got like 1 million views, and I was like, oh shit, like,
because you did what everyone wasn't doing. Everyone was talking about, like, I did one, and that was generally very positive.
Yeah.
And that one, I think that's got like over 2 million views.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that would come up to me and be like, "Oh, I'm here because of you."
Yeah.
Because I watched that video and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Well, I've had mixed opinions from people on the video. Like, people come up to me and be like, yeah, like, I agree with everything, and like, I'm silently agreeing with you, or a lot of people will be like, oh, I don't agree with it. And I think it's like, it was very polarizing, and like, when you would read the comments, people were either like very much like love it or hate it. And I think that's why the video did so well, is because it was a polarizing topic. It entered the realm of like political correctness and stuff, and I'd seen other people make videos on Dubai and stuff like yours, but I didn't expect to do that well. I was just like, I'll just give my honest opinion on it. And, I think that the UAE is an amazing place and Dubai is an amazing city. But it just wasn't the right thing for me. And I think a lot of people took it the wrong way. And I didn't want it to come across as like, it wasn't like a video that I made because I was like angry or upset. It was just like, hey guys, I tried it and it wasn't for me, but it probably is for you, or might be for you. So check it out. But,
it's weird, because there's a lot of people who go there because other people go there.
Right,
and I'm like, stop being sheep.
It's like Austin.
You should have some own independent thought and actually go somewhere that you feel like you'd be interested in going to. Don't just go somewhere because everyone else is going there and you're like, oh, well, I have to go as well.
That was kind of one thing that I struggle with in Dubai specifically, and only in our sort of sphere, the internet money sphere, not like the real estate sphere or the, flight attendant sphere or whatever, because you've got different pockets of sort of social cliques, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But for us, it was just, for me, it was everyone just copying Imam Gaji.
Yeah.
Like, and we all, it's just like, I was just like, this is like a social echo chamber. Everyone's like saying the same things. They believe the same things. Everyone's got the same lifestyle.
Posting the same
They post
style.
the same stuff. They do the same vlogs. They eat the same food. They smoke the same cigars. And it's just like, and like, I respect him for that, because he kind of led the charge on that.
Pioneer.
Yeah. And it's like, but then everyone just like suddenly just flocked there.
Yeah.
And it's like, where's the critical thinking? Where's like the, is like, this is kind of what my business partner and I did after, because I did the same thing. Like, I started going shopping at Zara and like buying like linen trousers. I've never done this in my life. I was like,
Laura Piana shoes.
I was like, I bought some bloody those Travis Lowe's, which you got on as well. They look very nice, by the way. And so I bought these expensive trainers, and then I was like buying these watches, and then I was looking at supercars, and then I was living on the palm, and I was like. And after like a year of that, I stopped and I was like, what am I actually doing? Because it's like, I'm not living like a sovereign life here. Like, it almost felt like I wasn't really there or making these purchasing decisions or lifestyle decisions on my own accord. It kind of felt like I'd just been sucked into this like social vacuum that was just encouraging these behaviors, and just sort of was this self-fulfilling prophecy. And then you've got, of course, the dinners and the yacht parties and all of these things. And it kind of hit me. I was like, this isn't like, the only way to describe Dubai is the city's amazing, the country's amazing, the locals are amazing, it's very safe, it's incredible. But for me personally, I felt like I got lost in that whirlwind of like, the source, basically. Exactly. That like,
I think that's one thing that you can't be prepared for, is navigating your way through all of that. Like, you can have a very different experience of the place depending upon who you spend the time with, where you're going, and like what activities you get involved in. Like, because I've 6 years now, I feel like I've almost done it all.
Yeah, 100%.
And there was definitely periods where I was getting a little bit carried away, even getting just too distracted, because nobody really prepares you for when you do become successful and you have money, and then it's like, oh, you've got status, you got, you have disposable income. And then you're like, oh shit, like this Dubai is built to entertain you.
And the thing is, man, is there's no playbook for it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a dude and you're 21, 23, 25, whatever, 26, and you suddenly find yourself with millions of dollars, or hundreds of thousands of dollars in income tax free, and you go to this city with all its shiny objects, and it's like there's no sort of like playbook or course or information, because it's such a rare situation to be in. But no one prepares you for it, like you said. And like if you're not careful, you just get sucked into this sort of this lifestyle of that's just how you live, and then before you know it, you kind of lose yourself in that, and it becomes very dangerous. But
yeah, for me it was okay because I didn't start making good money until I was in my late 20s. So I was more mature, and I think when I'm looking at these kids who are like in their early 20s, I'm not even surprised, because if I had that money when I was 20 years old, or 21, I would be an arsehole.
Yeah,
like I would need to be surrounded by good quality people who would steer me away 100%. From all of that temptation.
It's completely understandable though, because like, you know, if you take any 20-year-old guy off the street, no matter who he is or where he's from, you know, you take just a normal 20-year-old guy and you say, hello mate, here's $1 million a year to spend, or even his $200,000 a year to spend. You don't have to pay any tax. You know, it's like the problem is, and the thing that I've observed with entrepreneurs in Dubai specifically, is their business and their business and their work becomes about sustaining a lifestyle as opposed to actually building something. And so what happens is they all fall apart and die and end up being blown to smithereens from a business perspective, because to get to that point where you're liquid enough to live that lifestyle, you have to work obscenely hard, but then you start enjoying all these rewards, which then takes away from the work, which then after a while destroys the business. And I noticed that starting to happen.
It should be reinvested.
Yeah, it's like it's like my objective, because everyone makes the argument of tax. And, you know, everyone's over there for tax. And that was why we moved, because we were paying, and we still are paying now we come back, £1 million a year in corporation tax, 25% corp tax. But it's not nice. It's not, but it's like my friend said to me, Jaden, which kind of blew my entire paradigm apart. He was like, because I always talk about wanting to be a billionaire and having all this confidence in building a company that can do that. And he was like, Charlie, if you're so confident you're going to be an actual billionaire, then why are you worried about $1 million or $2 million in tax? And I was like, actually, yeah, because what it is it's just like, for me at least, moving there was unconsciously like a statement in my lack of confidence that this thing might last, specifically for the tax. Now, it depends. A lot of people move for tons of other reasons, because there's loads of other reasons to move there. But I feel like tax, having that sort of barrier to taking it out personally, it makes you a better entrepreneur, because you can't take it out. You have to reinvest it. You have to like sort of put it back in, and create that flywheel.
Was there anything that you purchased that was expensive that you look back and think, oh, that was actually like worth it?
Nearly. No.
Nothing.
No. Honestly, man, no. Like, I've realized there's not much more that I need to be happy than like good food, clean water, shelter, a desk, and something really big to work on, and my friends and my family. Like, be like, you know, the whole Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
It's like I've climbed to the top of the pyramid and I've sort of looked over to see like what's around, and there's not much up there. Like, you know, I had the house, and I started buying these watches, which I sold pretty quickly after. Well, I didn't actually buy them. They gave me them to like try, and they're like, you can come back, and I drove the Lamborghinis and stuff, and don't get me wrong, it feels fucking amazing. Like, it's the most like it's the best thing ever to have all that stuff. But then I was like, I had this sort of like little pit of like emptiness, just sort of like sat there, just like, you know, like, what are we actually doing? Because there's only so many cars you can buy, or so many things you can do, or so many dinners you can go on, or so many trips you can go on, or business class and first class when it gets so good before. And then I kind of realized like I gotta leave and sort of reset that dope. And it took a while to do that.
I do wonder when you talk about this, when other people talk about this, how these things don't really provide you with, you know, real satisfaction and meaning. I wonder how many people are like, okay, fair enough, I'm not going to do that. I feel like it's one of those things where people
have to learn by doing
they need to experience it.
Yeah. It's
like, even if, you know, if a young guy looking at an older guy who gets to just sleep with loads of women, as much as he wants, having all this variety, that sounds like a dream for a younger guy. Yeah. Like, of course I would want that.
Then you realize it's actually a gateway to misery.
Yeah. when somebody actually experiences that, they're like, oh, this actually really is not as good as I thought it would be. But they're only going to find that out if they do it.
It makes you wonder how deterministic that urge is. Because the argument is like, is like with the woman thing as well. Is like getting it out of your system. But I don't know if that's just like a cope for being lustful or something. Because when you get to the point where you're like super successful and have the money, like dating options become much broader, and like you said, like other guys look at that and think that must be amazing, but then it's almost a curse because you've got this. Just then you suddenly start becoming aware that you can pick and choose what you want in a partner, which then means you sort of create this list of what you think perfection looks like, and then no one's ever good enough. But
and then you're always stressed out. If you make a decision, you always think of the opportunity cost of what you potentially missed out on. Like, oh, maybe I was this one and this one.
Yeah, well, that happened to me until I met my girlfriend. And that was like, and that again, it was funny.
Here?
Yeah, it happened. The second I got back to London, like within like 2 months, I was like, oh, done. Because I tried to do it in Dubai, and I tried the dating thing in Dubai, and it was. Don't get me wrong, you can have fun, and it's a crazy experience, but it's like it's not. There's some good people in Dubai, and there's lots of sweet girls in Dubai, but it's so transient as well, and everyone's planning on leaving, and the intentions are weird.
And people there for half a year.
Yeah, that was another thing that I struggled with, is like. There was no consistency of like you I feel like I couldn't like put my roots down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like it's like I'm not gonna get married here. I'm not gonna have kids here. It's like, and lots of people want to do that, and I would encourage it because it is a safe place and it is a beautiful place, and there's 101 reasons to live there. But yeah, I was just like, no, it's not for me.
Yeah. So the goal now is you've been there, done that.
Yeah.
Now you're just focused on you want to build.
Just build. Because I've like, it's a really interesting phenomenon, because when you find yourself in a position like where we've got enough sort of investment, interest, etc., where like the passive income that comes from our investments now is, and then the cash reserves we've got and stuff is enough to sort of sustain my lifestyle at the level it's at right now, which I'm perfectly happy with. And that's a weird place to be for a guy in your 20s, because it's like,
how old are you now?
27. So it's weird to be there, because then you're sort of like, what do I do now? Like, because you can decide not to work anymore, but that means absolving yourself of any commercial responsibility, which is a just complete like gateway to misery, because you're just, what are you going to do? It's like you're going to go and like travel the world, but there's only so many beaches you can sit on before they all start seeming the same. There's only so many temples you can look at before you get sick of it. And so I've never done the travel thing really. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, and it just doesn't seem like there's much else. What about you? Because what are you working on right now? What's your big?
My problem is that as I think this is probably like a couple of years into living in Dubai. I was getting distracted trying to do loads of different things, and I'm the type of person that gets bored quite easy. Yeah. Like I have I want to try this,
shiny object,
and then I do it, and I'm like, cool, that's boring now. I want to do like this thing. So I'm trying to think back. This was like probably a realization early this year, and I was like, what am I still like really good at? What do I enjoy? And it's always gonna be the fitness thing. Like doing anything related to fitness is just
your thing.
I enjoy it, and I'm gonna care about it for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
probably yes. It's gonna pivot away from being jacked to
being
just how to continue to look good and feel good for as long as possible. So the one of the best monthly recurring revenue models for me has been the app.
Okay.
And
yeah, you've been doing that for a long time.
I've not even scratched the surface of how well that can do. Because I've relied mostly on just organic reach. And it's because I have a big following. It's been fine. And then I speak to people and they'd be like, oh, you're running ads? I'm like, no.
Why are you not running ads?
Yeah, so all these things, I am now, but this was back then. I had none of these strategies in place that could make me so much more money.
At least retarget your YouTube audience.
Yeah,
at least.
So I was fine because I was making, from going like 10K to 100K a month.
Yeah.
I was pretty content with just making like 100K a month.
Yeah. That becomes miserable very quickly then, doesn't it? Like,
yeah. And then I was thinking, fuck.
Talk about that, because people are going to be like, what the fuck?
This could be doing like way more. But not because I want to buy more things. Just because I want to build something really cool.
I feel like it's kind of like I talked to a psychiatrist about this because I was doing some research for a mindset module I was making for the free program. And she was talking about how like certain men have like a masculine urge for this archetypal expansion. And you need to feel this need for growth. And she said it manifests in things like bodybuilding, and it manifests in things like business, where like you'll get to a point where even though you are more successful and more wealthy than basically 99% of people, it still never feels like enough. And I was trying to figure out, like, why is it never enough? Why can't we just be comfortable and happy? She's like, well, because like we're kind of, she got a bit hippie with it, like talking about the universe and how the universe expands and we're part of the universe. But it's like, I get it, because it's like you just want to see that number just keep growing, and you almost attach your self-worth to it, which can be a pathway for misery, but it doesn't really bother me.
Yeah.
Do you ever find that where you're like, you feel like you're chasing something, but you're just like, sometimes you're unhappy, you're not there, but you're still happy that you're trying? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I understand myself a lot more than I used to. And I think I'm quite good at self-reflecting, where I've never let it take over me and I become too obsessed with the numbers. Same with social media. I could very easily,
that's a trap.
I could very easily sell out and sell my soul and just create garbage content just to keep the followers coming in and the engagement high. But I refuse to follow trends, and I post the things which I want to post.
Yeah.
So even though I put a piece of content out and it doesn't perform as well as I would like, I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't care.
Even when you see like an 8 out of 10, like on like the it stings a little bit.
Yeah. Even some like I used to read my comments all the time, and now I just don't read the comments.
Yeah.
So I think I've always had a very good work-life balance. Like, I don't let it over-consume me. Like, the moment I feel like it's overtaking me, I'm just like, no. And then I go off, and then I will literally walk away from everything.
Yeah.
And just live life for a little bit.
And then
after doing that, I'm like,
completely.
Okay, I'm bored of it. I want to do work now.
Yeah. That must be interesting, because I have the opposite of that, where like I'm just, all I want to do is work.
Yeah.
Like it's to the point where like it's like I don't really do anything but work.
Yeah.
And then like I'll talk about that online, or
you made a video about how to become just obsessed.
Yeah, and it's like, and a lot of people don't receive that message well, because it's not a very, you've got to have a,
it's like, yeah, if you're dealing with your bad emotions, or you've had a breakup, or if you've got cravings, just go fucking work.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's the same sort of token as like, you know, that typical sort of myth of a guy going through a breakup and then getting jacked.
Yeah.
It's like you take that pain and you put it in the gym.
Yeah.
You can either do that, or you can go and sit and be miserable and eat loads of shit food and watch like Netflix for like 3 months or something. But I think it's like, I don't have that sort of off switch. And like it comes with its problems, because the only way I can really switch off is if I like kind of like sedate myself. So if I go on holiday, I'll have to like drink loads of beers and eat loads of junk food just to feel that sense of like, oh, I'm actually relaxed now. And like a lot of people comment on things like that and say that's not healthy and that's not good. But I'm like, but it doesn't, you get to a point where you just don't really care with it that much.
But do you think that's always been in you, or it's been a self-taught thing?
I think that it's,
because it sounds like when you were juggling all those jobs.
Yeah, I think it's very much like, from not necessarily, it was weird. It was kind of like something sort of lit up in me when I was like 18, because I was never that like conscientious when I was like in my teenage years, because typically you see that sort of high agency behavior in the late 20s, but you also see that with people that like smash their A levels and they go to Oxford or Cambridge and they do really work well in their career or something. But I sort of turned it on when I was like 18. But I think the reason is different now. So when I was like 18 to 20, it was like I was working so hard because I felt like I was out of pain. I was like angry. I was like, oh, I'm poor, I'm broke. It was very much a fear-based thing. Then it became greed from like 21 to like 24, 25. And then I've kind of gone from working out of fear to then working out of greed to now kind of working out of love. And I know that sounds like you want to like fucking roll your eyes and be like, oh, shut the fuck up. Like, there's no way that's true. But it's like the only way to describe my relationship with work now is I just genuinely love it. And I like, all I want to do is just, it's like having like a really good friend and like hanging out with them. You feel amazing all the time and they're just a really good person. It's like, that's how I feel about the work at the moment.
Is it the work itself or the fact that you've been productive?
I think it's the idea of the work itself. I think it's like being productive feels amazing, but it's building something. What it is, I think, is being able to exercise autonomy. Because it's like, I'm at the point with the business now where like we're in a good place and I get to sort of envision, like, it's really hard to conjure up like a love for work at the beginning or the early stage, because you're doing it because you have to. you know, and once you get to that sort of like multi-seven figure level and you're good and, you know, like kind of like you explained, you just walk away. Instead of like, I had that where I felt I had this sort of like empty feeling for like a year. I was like, what do I do now? I was like, you know, I've got this life, I've got this money, what do I do? And like, then I was like, oh, I can actually just think up anything I want and just spend every day of my life just doing exactly what I want to do, which is, for me, it's just building a really sick company that makes client acquisition easy, which is what I love doing, is what I'm passionate about. So it's kind of, to me, like work now is like, I can imagine it's the same thing as like, you know Fred again.
Mm-hmm.
And you know when you watch his boiler room sets or you see his DJ sets and he's like,
so happy.
He's loving it. That's how I feel when I'm at my keyboard, just like, you know, just like that. And that's
like me when I'm in the gym.
Yeah,
because
and you can tell
when I don't know, I go into my little zone. I listen to my music and I love it. And I realize that one thing that pisses me off more than anything is when there's work that needs to be done that prevents me from going to the gym.
Yeah,
anything that prevents me from going to the gym annoys me so much.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I want to still continue to. I want to work, but I don't want that to.
Where do you think that comes from? The absolute love and obsession for
God,
the
I
gym?
don't know.
Because it's like, I'd love to know, because obviously, like, I've never met someone that's as like, well, I mean, there's people out there like Banus and stuff, but like you, every time I see you, you're talking about the gym. You love it. Yeah. Like, it's like you love it. So like, was that when you were a teenager? You're like fastest kid in school or something, or like?
I think there's probably a load of different reasons why. Because I cannot understand the people who want to get in shape, but they don't have that drive or that ability to remain consistent. Because ultimately, if you want to build decent muscle, you have to be extremely consistent at doing the basics over a long period of time. But loads of people struggle to do that. And for me, it just does not feel like hard work.
Do you think it's because you love the journey, not the outcome?
Yeah, I never cared about the outcome when I was getting started.
Yeah.
It was like, I just remember enjoying the experience of doing it. And then I would look in the mirror and I had a bit of a pump and I was like, whoa. Like,
whoa!
I enjoyed seeing my body change, but it was more so just the little hour and a half escape that I would get. And then this is one thing that probably a lot of people don't understand. You know, when you get really good at something, it becomes more enjoyable to do.
100%.
So when I got good at obviously executing the exercises and doing it the way I was supposed to do it, and then on top of that, you see the results. Like you're in the gym and you're probably you have one of the best physiques
ever.
Fucking sick feeling.
Yeah.
And then I realized, I'm trying to think back to the early days when you're first walking into the gym. You don't know how to friggin' move this weight properly and put like the tension on the muscle you're trying to target.
Do you remember your first workout?
Yeah, it was in the school gym.
What was
when that? It was 16 or 17.
Okay.
So it was this it's probably the size of this.
Yeah.
A little bit bigger, had machines everywhere.
Smith machine in the corners.
I had no idea what I was doing, but nobody else was there because nobody cared about the gym.
Okay.
So I hooked up it was the old school iPod. Actually, I think it was even plugged in to the speaker system.
You are old, aren't you?
And
I was plugging it in like an aux. Like,
playing my music and then just going around trying all these different machines. I just loved it. Yeah. And nobody did it with me. Yeah. In fact, I was doing it and my schoolmates were just making
thinking about it, what was the like pull? Because obviously, like you said, nobody cared. It was eccentric, idiosyncratic. Nobody's going to the gym. So what was it that made you walk past it and think like, oh, I'll give that a go?
I think because I wanted to, I wanted to look different.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if it had something to do with, I've told this story before, but I got mugged on a bus.
You got mugged on a bus?
Yeah. I was on the way to the city centre and these two kids who were older than me, bigger than me, they basically mugged me for my money. And I didn't put up a fight, couldn't put up a fight.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I feel so helpless.
Yeah.
That if that's going to happen again in the future, I want to at least look intimidating enough where people might think twice. Or if I'm going to fight, at least I can throw my weight around. So I don't know if that had something to do with it. I don't know if it's because I wasn't very good with girls and I thought that would help me be better with girls. Which obviously isn't the case, but I think it was a combination of different things. And then that just enjoying it.
What's your favourite exercise? It's got to be chest press, surely.
It's probably one of the easier ones.
Yeah. No, one of the problems I have with the gym is like my central nervous system gets like fried really quickly. So I don't I had this issue again, this at the beginning, this sort of all or nothing thing of like training to failure.
Yeah.
And then like I'd do that, and then I'd have to take like a week off, and it was just horrible.
Yeah, so you would need to follow just a low volume approach.
Yeah.
You'd probably do 2 working sets per exercise, and then you just do 5 or 6 exercises. Yeah. As long as you just focus on, you don't have to go to failure, but just lift as heavy as you can. Yeah. Do 6 to 8 reps.
Okay.
You'll be surprised because it'll feel like you haven't done enough. But you're not supposed to walk out of the gym feeling completely.
Well, that's the thing is like I'd fall into this trap of being like, because I'll go through these phases where like I'll train like a fucking animal for like 2 months,
which most people do,
and then I'll get like,
and they restrict themselves.
Yeah, then I'll get like fucking big, and then I'm like, oh, if I continue to train, I get like a fever, I get sick or something.
Yeah, that's overtraining basically.
Yeah, so I just go through that cycle, but that's such a like. Typical me trait of just overdoing it, which is stupid. So.
But it's like you have this, I don't know if it's an obsession, but you have this love for work. I just love going to the gym.
Yeah.
Usually people have this thing which they really like to do.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people, they either don't realize they like doing it, or they don't understand that, hey, you know, if you wanted to, you could probably monetize this.
Yeah.
There's a way, I feel like there's a way to monetize any kind of passion.
Especially with platforms like WOP and School these days.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you're by virtue, I think the thing is though, is a lot of people don't do something for long enough to get really good at it. Because like you can enjoy.
And you can't do too many things.
Yeah, well that's the problem, man. Is because I like, you know, you've got kids my brother's age who are like really good at video games. But then it's like, can you monetize that? Should you monetize that? What, like the video? Do you ever do the video game thing?
Yes, I was horribly addicted.
Yeah, me too. But that's like an interesting thing. Like I feel like if you get rid of the video game thing, that energy, that addiction has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So if you cut the video games, like you're left with this like massive ball of like addictive energy that you have to play somewhere. Mm-hmm. So for me, that was work because what games did you play?
I loved. This was more so on the PC.
Oh,
so
okay.
Theme Hospital, Roller Coaster Tycoon, Age of Empires,
Jeez.
Sims. It was very much like building. I like building things.
I always found Sims to be really weird because it's like you're spending your time building this other character's life, and like you're doing all the right things just on a screen, but then your own life is like
an absolute
shambles. Yeah, it's like you're sending them to the gym and you're getting them a job and you're having them raise children and pay their mortgages and look after their pets, but then like you don't.
I never even played the game properly. I used to cheat and have unlimited money.
You just do the,
so I would build them the most enjoyable and satisfying part was building the house for them.
Yeah.
And then once I built the house, I was like, okay, this is boring.
Yeah. As soon as you've done it, I had that with like Minecraft.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you build, like I'd have this weird relationship with Minecraft where like I would play it for like 2 weeks obsessively, build this insane house, and then like the second it was built, I was like, oh, like what do I do now? And then I was like, wait, what does that tell me about myself? Like, do I want to build a house or something, or like a home or something? I wouldn't even care about like slaying the dragon. It was just going on this like build shelter.
I remember this was a long time ago. Somebody asked me like, I really enjoy playing games. Do you think I can monetize that? And I was like, games are an absolute waste of time. And then I thought, well, actually, if you get yourself really, really good at playing games, you can make a lot of money off that. You can build an audience.
So good though.
And then everything off the back of that.
I feel like you've got to be like, everyone's trying to do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I feel like quitting and then teaching people how to quit is probably the easiest way to monetize it.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, are you a professional guy in your 30s addicted to video games and you want to stop the habit because your girlfriend hates you and everyone doesn't like you? You should probably quit.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Like, I used to play RuneScape a lot. That was like a RuneScape, League of Legends. But it's weird because like someone said to me once, like once you're a gamer, you're always a gamer. And I'll still from time to time get caught watching like YouTube videos of like video games and stuff. And it's like games that I haven't even thought about or played or touched for like 10 plus years. They'll just find their way into my YouTube feed and stuff like that. But
there was one guy who I know, he was a really good gamer. And I didn't realize there's a huge market in this esports gaming thing.
It's big.
So he got really good at gaming. Then he decided to build his own organization, his own team. And then he made like, I think over hundreds of millions off this organization, which he built within esports.
There's just so much attention there, man.
Yeah. All right, guys, quick pause here. I've got a question for you. Are you in shape? Are you not in shape? Is there work to do? Most likely. If so, I have the tool for you, which is going to help you out massively. It's the thirst step. This is something which I personally use myself when it comes to my training and my nutrition. I have all the programs in there which I use on a regular basis. And for those who are just looking to lose a bit of body fat, the same thing goes for women as well. A lot of people don't realize that I used to coach for a large chunk of my life. So all of my coaching experience has been put inside of this app. I want you to learn as much as possible about how to get yourself in shape. There's exclusive videos in there telling you how to do it, how to execute exercises properly, the foods which I eat, and a newly added nutrition section where you can track your meals and your daily macros. It is pretty much this pocket-sized version of myself, which you can carry around with you all day, every day. So if there's something which might interest you, which it definitely will do, I highly suggest check out links in the description, head over to the Thirst app, get it downloaded. You will not regret it. Now let's crack on with the episode.
What do you think of like the short form stuff these days?
I hate it.
Yeah.
It's slop.
Yeah.
My problem is I used to love Instagram back in the day because I'm an old fogey. I liked it when it was just pictures.
Yeah.
And it was just a love for sharing pictures and you would actually see what your friends were posting. Now the feed is just, it's just everything. I know you can choose to see things which are posted by friends, but a lot of time you just get given everything. And like, I'm not even mad sometimes because some of the stuff is hilarious.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm actually quite glad I saw this.
Instagram Reels could be hilarious.
But my problem is because of what I do, as I mentioned before, I'm now trying to run 4 YouTube channels.
Yeah.
So that's 4 channels with long form content. And then now to be competitive on Instagram, we need to be pumping out the short form content, which you can technically clip from the long form, but sometimes it just doesn't hit. And I'm like, to try and be the best on every single platform is and then you are literally a slave to creating content. And I realized that I kind of got to that point where all I was doing was just creating content, but I was not building any real business behind the scenes. It was just like, look, I would literally just go on trips because I thought, I need some...
just for content.
I was like, the YouTube channel is a bit dead. Like, I've been in Dubai for too long. Let me go take a trip and do something interesting.
Yeah.
Which, it's fun. And like, a lot of the things I've done that have been really interesting in my life, I've done because of the YouTube channel. I'm like, I need to go and do something interesting. So in a way, it's good. But to go off and to create an entertaining travel vlog requires you to
work, man.
It's a full week of doing shit.
Yeah.
And then it's actually, you can get some decent views and things like that, but it's financially doesn't really make much sense. For the life aspect and experiences, it's great. But for building a business and making money, it's really not that great.
I feel like you could just like whack out a whiteboard and talk about quitting porn and just get the same amount of views.
Yeah.
You know? But I guess...
Which is now, I think as well, which I found quite interesting was when Iman really starts to take off. His videos and other people in the fitness industry like Jeff Nippard, the quality of his videos was so good. I was just like, fuck, do I have to I have to put all this effort into the edits and the transitions and the going balls deep into research papers. Like, I don't care about this. I just want to go back to when I was making videos where I just sit down and talk. Simple edits. And there was a period of time where fancy edits were the thing. Yeah. And that's what everyone wanted to see. And I felt like I couldn't compete.
I feel like they're not really that's not really...
But it's gone back now.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
I think that we're like going to see a big, like, this is kind of like a theory that I have for content, for like longer form content this year, is I think that humor is going to sort of come back into into the thing. Because when we had like Vine and like you had like, when dare I say, like some of Logan Paul's vlogs back in the day, and like that sort of era, that David Dobrik 5 year, it was funny.
Yeah,
and like
I used to watch them.
But it was like it was less about it being entertaining, and it was more about it being funny. The David Dobrik one's interesting because I realized that like I was thinking a lot like, why is it the case that Twitch streamers and other streamers have become so popular? And I realized it's the same thing. It's like what David Dobrik's vlogs allow you to do is to be part of the popular group, which is 5 minutes, because it's first person POV, And it's like you're there, and so you get immersed in this sort of experience that basically no one ever experienced as a kid, which is like, well, for me at least, especially being part of that popular group. And it's the same thing with streamers and Twitch streamers. It's like you have this parasocial that it feels very real, but it's not, because they don't know you. But you have this relationship, close friendship that you feel with the popular guy, with the guy that has the high status. And so like it's really like I think the long form content game is going to become a lot more about like humor and a lot more about feeling like you're with the popular guy. And you see this with Hormozi starting to do his live streams a lot. And Hormozi's taken this big bet on content being about live, especially because AI can't replicate it and stuff. But that's kind of where my bet is on it being. And I've also found that the more and more and more that I lean into my actual personality on videos, like the better the videos.
Yeah.
Like when I'm saying like sort of slightly out of pocket shit, it works so much better.
Well, that's how people know that you're being your true, authentic self.
Yeah.
Because I think I've been quite good at being myself, but even then, when I'm reviewing the video, I'm like, I can't put that in.
Yeah.
Like, I could probably get cancelled if my videographer
I feel like it slipped in 20 quid. But I feel like cancel culture's gone.
Yeah,
like,
it was. I think 2020 was the worst.
Yeah,
round about that period when everything was like peak woke. It was like you couldn't crack a joke without someone being offended.
But I think that now that as soon as Elon Musk bought Twitter, cancel culture's gone. Yep. Like it's like, you know, that there's this really interesting statistic that I haven't actually seen. So whether this is actually true or not, it was on the Joe Rogan Elon Musk podcast, where Joe Rogan was talking about this set of statistics that the amount of kids that identified as trans was like at an all-time high. And the second Elon Musk bought Twitter, it dips down, because suddenly like people can actually have rational conversations and you know talk objectively about all these things and express themselves without fear of being banned or cancelled. And I feel like now like it's like we've gone completely backwards to the point where you can say retard.
Yeah.
And no one and it's still like some people are like, oh, you shouldn't say that online, but they're not as triggered or offended as they used to be. And that sort of culture is back. And I think that comedians have kind of led that charge a lot as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's awesome, because you can actually like be yourself and have conversations without that big fear of like, because I mean, God, you see like Logan Paul's crushing it. He got cancelled. PewDiePie's still doing fine. He got cancelled. Mr. Beast got cancelled for that honey scam. He's doing just fine.
Yeah.
You know, Andrew Tate's also doing just fine now. So I think what's happened is enough people have been cancelled and been fine for everyone to sort of realise like, oh, it's
not the end of
not actually that big of a deal. And what does it even mean to be cancelled?
Yeah.
It's like just half the internet just decides that you're not relevant for about 3 months. And that's it.
I think I don't think they care as much about something being so picture perfect and well presented. Like they don't mind if it's, you know, you make a few mistakes or you can't get your words out the way you want it to. It's just more relatable. I think people want to relate to people more. Have
you seen the Nick Fuentes guy?
Yeah.
Because he's like the perfect example. He's definitely not a perfect example of being a man, but like that's an example of like he's the most like honest, like true to himself person. I think this is also why people like Donald Trump a lot as well.
And Theo Von.
Yeah, and Theo Von, because it's like, you know, these are guys that tend to just sort of say it how it is, and whether or not you believe Trump does that is up to the people watching, I suppose. But that Nick guy had an interview with Piers Morgan, and he says some heinous stuff, like outright racist.
It got clipped up, and I was like, is this AI?
Yeah,
or is this real?
It's real, and he says some shit that's so like diabolical that you think it's a joke. You're just like, and it's like, it's one thing to sort of skirt the line with those things as jokes, but then when you're actually serious, it's like, oh, you're actually serious. But like I was watching this thing, and like Piers Morgan was trying to sort of catch him out, trying to say like, okay, so like you've openly said you're a racist. Is that true? And the guy's like, yeah. And Piers like his boomer brain just can't comprehend that this guy is just like being dead transparent. And obviously like that's awful. You shouldn't be fucking racist. But it's like we're getting to this point now, which is so interesting to watch from an internet culture perspective, where people are just like telling the truth. Like you saw this with Andrew Tate as well, with like the way he would articulate his opinions, whether you agree with them or not. Like he was speaking what he thought to be true, irrespective and unconcerned of what other people thought. And then, you know,
you got to respect that, because especially when he started doing it, there was, I don't really recall many people truly speaking how they thought.
well, they would have been, cut off or silenced, or they just didn't dare speak out loud. What happened? Because obviously you did the Tristan Tate podcast. I remember we spoke about this very briefly when we were a couple of whiskeys in Dubai or something, but you said that like a lot of people gave you, not like backlash, but like some people were like, oh, you sure you want to like have Tristan Tate on? He's very controversial. Was that like a...
Yeah, well, I think Tristan was fine, but then it got a bit sketchy literally about a month after that was done, because they got arrested.
Yeah.
And there were these wild accusations about the human trafficking thing.
Yeah.
And everyone went back to that post and to the YouTube video. It was worse on Instagram for some reason.
Yeah.
People were like, I can't believe you're associating yourself with a human trafficker, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not going to be a little bitch and like delete the post.
Sorry, guys.
I'm just like, first of all, I don't believe it's true. And second of all, like, no, I'm going to leave it up.
Yeah.
So there wasn't really, especially the first video I did, nobody knew who he was when I did the first video, so nobody could give me any backlash anyway. But I went and did a second video with Andrew. And generally speaking, it was very well received on YouTube. But I made a reel on Instagram.
Oh, mate, you'd be torn apart.
And I think I put that reel up. I lost probably about 3,000 followers. And then there was the amount of people who were really, really deeply offended, leaving comments. I had people putting stories up saying like, can't believe someone like Mike Thurston would associate with a person like this or promote somebody like this. And I was like, whoa.
I think it's because like the short form platforms are so polarizing.
Yeah.
Because like on YouTube, you're only going to get recommended stuff on YouTube that you actually want to watch.
Yeah.
Because to like engage in a YouTube video, you have to make a decision to click on it. Which means that YouTube's algorithm is biased towards showing you things you want to see. Whereas like the other short form platforms, you don't really have much of a decision.
It's like
it serves you anything. You literally don't decide what is next, like a slot machine. So I feel like, when you look at some people's like Instagram algorithms, it's like, it's no surprise that on YouTube it does fine, because the people that receive that are going to want to see Andrew Tate content. But on Instagram, it's like people are so angry as well, man. And it's like, I've always found that interesting, the sort of getting offended thing. It's like why?
Yeah. I try to recall any time where I've watched something and it really offended me. I think I watched the Diddy documentary that 50 Cent did.
Oh, I haven't seen that, but yeah.
It's so good. But then I was watching it, I was like, I really did not like Diddy.
Yes.
I was like, wow, what an actual dickhead.
Yeah.
Like that actually triggered a bit of emotional response. But in general,
enough for you to go and comment.
No. I've never. That's why with the whole commenting thing, when I think about the people that go to the effort of leaving a comment and it's negative, I'm like, what does that say about them?
Yeah.
Because I've never. The only time I've left a comment, when I do, it's either I'm trying to be funny, cracking a joke, or it's something positive.
Yeah.
Like I just, if I don't like something, I'm like, well,
the psychology of negative comments is really fascinating, because it's like it is just kind of like I think a lot of people on social media get offended, and it's like a virtue signal. So they're like putting it on your story, like you've seen this before with any sort of trend, whether you agree or not with like the shit that people put on their stories, like this trend is trending, or this march was, and it's like a way of it's a way of signaling to your followers, like, I'm a good person because I don't like this thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think that there's I think it also, I mean, you could argue that's also due to sort of the fall of religion and stuff and not having anything to believe in. But
well, I see some people who they literally just don't really have an identity.
Yeah,
they want to have an identity, so they're like, let me attach myself to this cause and promote this cause.
Yes.
Because now I feel useful.
And that's why if you then attack that cause, they feel attacked.
Yeah.
Because they've merged themselves with the cause or with the group. And it's also like, I feel like people like that, their identity is not individual. It's not individual. It's like if you attack them, you attack the group. It's kind of like if you ever that whole, I don't know if it's true or not biologically, but that idea if you kill a wasp, all other wasps in the area will kind of like find you and hunt you down. It's like that, but and that's true for both sides of the coin, like the left or the right. Like it's not, I feel like everyone's off center these days and everyone's so like polarized, but like when I know it sounds hilarious and cringy to say, but when you actually escape the matrix, when you actually become like sovereign and free, and suddenly like you've got enough resources to live where you want, hang out with who you want, you don't have to put up with the co-workers or the boss, and you get to pick who you're with and what. When you're free, you become a lot less polarized to these things because you have something to believe in, which is yourself. Because you've actually done something and you can trust yourself.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. People get so upset, and it must cost so much energy to get that offended.
Yeah.
You know, and I know people will watch this and get offended about me saying it takes a lot of energy to get offended. It's like, it's like multiple offense, man.
Yeah, I think one of the great things which you will probably experience, which I've experienced, when you get in your 30s, with each year,
care less
you just,
and less.
you just don't give a fuck. And it's like so nice and freeing for things not to bother you anymore.
Yeah.
But you start to realize more and more how valuable your time is.
Yeah.
So I think one thing that definitely does annoy me is wasting my time, or somebody wasting my time, or doing something. For like, people would ask me, does anything make me mad? I'm like, fucking makes me mad. And there's a few times where I'd sit down and I would film a video, and I would just fucking kill this video. I'd crush it, speaking for like half an hour. Or an hour.
You forgot to hit record or something?
No, the microphone wasn't on.
Oh.
And I'd be like,
I had that.
I would just like scream.
Mate, I've had that before with when I was making the academy. I've got there's this thing in there called week 2. It's like it's the sort of portion like where we talk about like discipline, mindset, how to do the work, how to be consistent. And there's a video in there that's 3 hours long. They're all like pretty long. And there was this video, and I did it for 3 hours, and you do not want to reshoot that fucking video. Like because it's like, I've already said this. And so then you've got you're pissed off because you've got to re-record it, but then you've got to say the same thing again.
Yeah.
It's just like, I've been there, man. And I think everyone who makes content has at some point had that experience.
Yeah.
Like if Loom crashes or something, like recording a Loom for like a team member or like a prospect, and it corrupts.
Yeah.
Your eye just starts twitching. You're just like, you know.
I've had a few times it's luckily not very often, but cameramen have been filming this moment which cannot be repeated.
Yes.
Like a vlog.
Yes.
But they were filming in slow motion.
You try to speed it up, like,
and then watch it back, and then you just see the look on their faces where they'll be like,
"What's the of all the vlogs you've done and like all the sort of experiences you've had for YouTube specifically? What's been like the highlight experience where you were like, that was fucking awesome, like the best experience?"
Fuck, that's a good question.
It was caught on camera. Don't say fucking chest day.
No. I think it's definitely some trips which I've done. One trip which always stood out to me was to Japan.
Yeah, man, I saw that.
Like when I was in Osaka watching the sumo wrestling, I was like, "This is fucking cool."
Sick. Yeah,
like because I don't know anyone that's watched sumo wrestling in person in Japan.
Yeah.
And I was like, "This is freaking epic."
I'm going to Japan in May.
Yeah,
I can't.
Unbelievable place. And then as well, I think this had been related to the clothing company, the Thirst. We would do these campaigns where we'd just get like a load of models together because we needed other models to wear the shorts, bikinis, things like that. And we would just go to some crazy location. Like one that stood out was when we were in Capri, and I was on one of these Riva boats.
What's a Riva boat?
It's like a wooden old school boat.
Okay, yeah.
Like Italian style.
Like a sort of Viennese.
Yeah, and I was like, just on this boat, this really hot chick who I liked, and this like Capri in the background, and I was just like, I can't believe I'm doing this. This is a thing I wouldn't have done if it wasn't for this piece of content that we were trying to get.
You feel like you're in some sort of like beer ad. You see those like
like the freaking David Gandhi light blue commercial thing.
Yeah.
So and it's the same thing with the podcast. Not that they were necessarily amazing experiences, but the people I've met and the conversations I've had would not have happened if I wasn't doing the podcast.
I think there's a lot about like Joe Rogan and how if you had to ask like who's the most connected person on the planet, like if you said like like pull up your WhatsApp and like who's got the most famous people, it's got to be Joe Rogan, because it's like that dude has had like 5,000 conversations with unique people who are all seriously interesting, which is major. You've said recently that you want to become a billionaire. Why is that? Probably because I have a crippling lack of self-worth. I don't know. I mean, the answer that I tell myself that I'm consciously aware of, because the reasons why, there's probably 100 just buried away that I can't access or understand. But one of the main reasons why that I think of consciously is, it's like, to me, it kind of comes back to that whole video game addict thing. I feel like when you're a billionaire, like an actual, well, not necessarily in cash, but just in equity value in a company, it's like, or at least you have a company valued at $1 billion, which is kind of,
Is that the thing you want?
that's what I'm looking for.
Okay,
Obviously, I feel like if you get there and you keep growing that thing, you get to a point where you just become a billionaire anyway. But I feel like becoming a billionaire personally, or having a company that's valued at $1 billion, which is kind of a cheat, because if you have a software company doing like 100 mil a year, then that's then valued at $1 billion. So but you can sell it for that level, which means you, whatever.
Yeah.
The semantics don't matter past like 500 mil either way. But I feel like it's like being a billionaire is like, that's the highest level of the game. It's kind of
status.
like, yeah, it's probably as a status thing, but also maybe like a self-worth thing or like an achievement thing. But the difference is like, I always used to say it as like, just to like because I thought it sounded cool. It was like a virtue signal. Like, yeah, I want to be a billionaire. But now like that's what I'm sort of optimizing and engineering my entire life for, if that makes sense. And it isn't.
What have you realized so far?
What
about the pursuit of becoming a billionaire that maybe people don't realize?
I think the ruthlessness that you have to be a dick. Like, not that's direct. That's direct. Not in like all your social interactions and stuff. But I've spent a lot of time. Like, one thing that I did is I want to do this with software. So one thing I did is I've got a spreadsheet, a Google spreadsheet of I think 1,400 interviews with software billionaires. So whether that's the founders of Stripe or the founders of Shopify, I collated like the top 100 softwares, that new age sort of new money softwares.
Do you get someone to do that for you?
Yeah. And one of my team members did it for me, and then he found all the public interviews, and I've been going through them, and what I've kind of noticed is like they're just also ruthless. Like, and what I mean by ruthless is like, you'll stop at nothing to achieve your goal. And it's like, you know, you're not afraid to upset people or offend people. I'm sure that this is in a business context. So in the confines of your home or your friendship groups, it's obviously going to be different. You don't want to be a dick to everyone. But I've noticed that, like, you know, with my business and how I've built things, is I've always been very involved and very agreeable and very sort of friendly. And I think making that switch to becoming, because you like, when I think about how like Hormozi would run a team meeting, for example, you know, you can imagine what that would look like. So that sort of, you know, conqueror archetype where you're sort of on a mission and you're not going to take any shit from anyone. You're going to be completely ruthless, you know, with people. And so that's something that I've noticed. But that, and also all of them had some sort of vision, like something that they really wanted to do. It was never about, and it never has or will be for them, or specifically, hopefully for me, about the acquisition of material wealth or even power. It's kind of like, you know, that, and it's going to sound cringe, but you know that Peaky Blinders scene where Tommy Shelby is like, if we can, we do, or some shit. I can't remember the fucking butchered the quote. But you know what I mean? It's like, if you can do it, why wouldn't you? Because to me, I'm like, what else would I do? Like, what's the biggest possible imaginable achievement from a commercial business standpoint? It's the status of billionaire, because there's only like 3,600 of them in the world or something crazy like that. So that's the top echelon. That's like, for me right now, the way I look at business is kind of like, look at like a sports league. So you know how like let's take American football, right? So you've got the NFL, which is the billionaires. That's the top. Then below that, you've got college football, which is your sort of like 9-figure entrepreneurs. And then below that, you've got the sort of Division 1 high school league, which is what I'm in at the moment from a business perspective, at like 8 or multi-8 figures. And then below that, you've got the guys that just play on Sunday for fun. And so it's like transcending those ladders is kind of the game. And it's like, you get to play the game, the business game, at just a higher and a higher and a higher level. And the thing that I like, and I kind of explained this to a client the other day, is the further you go, when you start thinking like that, you start becoming a lot more tolerant of risk. You start becoming a lot more ruthless with your time. You start becoming a lot more direct. But the cool thing is it puts you under this pressure where all your decisions matter a lot. Like 3 bad decisions and you're fucked. Like, when you think about like Elon Musk, for example, like if that guy makes like, let's say he's running Tesla and he makes like just 2 or 3 consecutive really bad decisions, like bad hires or bad PR decisions, the entire business falls apart. So the higher you play, it's like walking on a tightrope, and you're sort of like balancing this thing, and like one misstep and you're dead. And I like that. And it sounds psychopathic to enjoy that idea, but I think the higher you go, the more risk there is associated with it. And it's not for everyone, but I love it.
How have you managed that with, you said you're in a relationship?
Yeah, we can talk. This is interesting. I knew this was going to come up. So it's really interesting because my girlfriend routinely calls me autistic, right? Which is just fine. It's not like a, it's a funny kind of joke, and in like a endearing way. She's lovely. So when I met my girlfriend, which was 6 months ago, we went on this first date, and I said to her, I was like, look, I need you to understand that, like, if we have I said this on the first date, like within 20 minutes, I was like, look, if we're going to have any sort of relationship, I need to understand something. And I said point blank, I said, my work will always come first. I will always put it before anything, even my own well-being, and sometimes yours as well. Which is like the look on her face was sort of like, oh, but I was just being honest. And
she looked disappointed.
No, she was she was like, yeah, I actually respect it and I actually understand it. And she's been, ever since then, I feel like if you don't set that expectation at the start, it sort of feeds in. And so,
you don't want to start the relationship off by being like the ultimate boyfriend.
Well, this is the thing, is
traveling around, give them all your time.
Exactly.
I made that mistake.
Because you make yourself so available to them at the beginning, and then that expectation is set. And then when you start withdrawing, they think that, you
don't like me anymore?
Yeah, exactly. You don't love me anymore. And it's like, I've never had that with my girlfriend. I'm not going to say her name because it's, it's personal, whatever. And so, there's that. But then also with my relationship now, it is, it's something, and it does sound autistic and it sounds freakish, but it's something that I manage. So we have a scheduled date night. We have monthly relationship check-ins where I've got a 20-step Google form that I will answer, like, she'll answer it and I'll answer it. And it's like, are our needs being met? Are we communicating properly? Is there anything underlying that we haven't discussed? Because, like, the thing is, this is like, again, this isn't normal, and it's not something that I don't think it's recommended for any normal person to do. But
it would probably help quite a lot of suffering marriages, no doubt.
And what you do, if you systemize communication, and if you create these systems for like, for example, like if I'm, my girlfriend knows because she lives with me now, and days that she's not working or days that she's around the house,
leave me.
Well, we've got this sort of heuristic where it's like a rule. It's like between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. no disturbances. And I say to her, because what girls are like, they want to talk, they want the attention, and in order for us to have a healthy relationship, she still needs to receive affection and love and all these things. And so, like, I say to her, if there's anything you want to talk to me throughout the day, whether it's about, the color of nails you should get done, or something someone said to you at work, or this, put it on your notes app and we'll talk about it in a day. And that way, it might sound like
weirdly autistic.
Yeah, and it is. It is. But the thing is that it actually works out better, because that means when I sit down to talk to her at the end of the day, or when she wants to talk, I actually hear her, and it's like I'm not on my phone or trying to do a meeting or whatever while she's trying to talk to me. It's like it's actually allocated. And I think that navigating relationships and stuff, when you have that weird obsessive work thing, can be difficult. And I think that a lot of, you see billionaires, their marriages blow up all the time. Just because they're hyper-disciplined men of extreme intelligence doesn't mean that they're getting everything right. Bill Gates and Melinda Gates break up, Jeff Bezos breaks up and stuff. And, their relationships are far from perfect. But I think, like, I've got a hunch that if you understand each other really well and what you both need, and you can systemize communication. Another example is we have this date night, and then what I've done, and this is autistic, is I've got a spreadsheet for movies and dinners. So every restaurant we go to, we will rate it, and every movie we watch, we will rate it. Because what started to happen with my girlfriend is she'd send me these restaurants, like these TikToks she'd seen, or she'd say, I really want to watch this movie. So I'd start adding them to spreadsheets, and then we'd do it and then rate it. And it's things like that's my own weird way of, it's kind of like, it's like almost like a little business, like you track it and you manage it, and you have the sort of items and the minutes and the meetings, but that works for me, and it works.
So you enjoy the process of reviewing things?
Yeah, well, it's not because it's like an enjoyment thing. It's just more like, if I don't, my calendar is so packed and I'm so regimented with it, if I don't make time for something, I won't do it.
Yeah,
that makes sense. And it's not that I don't think you can systemize or automate a loving relationship. There has to be elements of it that are fluid, dynamic, and it has to move like a sort of organic mechanism. But I think my hunch is that relationships fall apart when you don't communicate or when expectations aren't properly set. So those are the two.
I think that's a very good point. Like at the beginning, just saying like, "Hey, this is who I am. The work is the priority. Like,
Yeah.
you can be there,
Yeah.
or join me, or just
you can leave." But
Yeah.
I think a lot of women, obviously the majority of women, they love the idea of being with a man that is very wealthy. You know, and I think, you know, not to call out gold diggers, but like if you were a woman and you had two identical men, man A and man B, they're identical in every way, same height, same build, same look, same everything, but one guy's rich and one guy's poor, you're going to pick the rich guy just by default. But the chances are is a guy that is in his 20s or 30s and is wealthy, if he's made his own money, he's not going to be as available because, you know, there's a reason why he's that successful, and that's because he's put the time in. And so my girlfriend's amazing. She's so emotionally responsive, and she's so good at communicating and managing her own emotions and stuff that it's like it works really well. I've been looking for that for like a long time.
Yeah, and she's got her own thing going on as well with work.
Yeah, she's doing her own thing, and she's got her own sort of life, and you know, she and I have the same values in terms of what we want. Traditional relationship, you know, sort of I pay for the house, she makes it at home, I pay for the food, she cooks it, like you know, all those sorts of things. And that I've always wanted that. I've never wanted the power couple thing because I feel like when I come home, I need it to be home, not work, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your experience been like in Dubai recently?
Well, it's pretty good. I mean, I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know. I don't allow myself to get disappointed. I don't overly get my hopes up. I'm enjoying it. And I think that's down to the experience that I've had. I've had the heartbreaks in my 20s and I've made the mistakes. And it's very easy now. I can look at someone and just be like, okay, I know what type of girl this is. And then I know, like, is this someone you have fun with? Is this someone maybe you actually take something, you have something serious with them?
Yeah.
And you can tell very quickly if they're lying, full of shit, or like what they like to do in their spare time. Are they an escort?
Are they up to
like
no
all
good?
of that? So, as I said, I'm having fun. I feel like I'm 35. I feel like I'm definitely. I don't even know if this is my prime. If the prime is still yet to come. So I'm enjoying it, and I know when the time comes, I want to have some kids at some point.
Yeah.
I can make that happen. I think I was overthinking it. That if I have kids, my life is drastically going to change. I think if you are, you're successful, you've got great things going on work-wise, and most importantly, you have a lot of money. You can do a lot of things that a lot of other men can't do. With men with less resources, they don't have the same freedom, and they can't. They can't run their life they want to because they're like, oh, I can't afford a nanny, or I can't.
It's funny because I haven't spoken to a single guy that has a kid that's regretted it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I had this same fear, or have this same fear, not to the degree at which I used to have it. I think it depends the partner you're with and how good they would be of a mother and whether they want that. But I think I feel like life probably starts when you have kids.
Yeah.
Because like what could be more meaningful than that? But it's a question of finding the right person to do that with, because it's like a kid is like you've got to raise this thing for like 18 years and then some. I
think the most important thing is finding someone who genuinely wants to be a mother. Like
it is so
even
hard,
where they're literally they've got their own thing going on, they're making money or whatever, but they're just literally they just cannot wait to be a mother, and they're going to throw everything into being a mother.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I want. I've had some good relationships with some women where I've thought about. I'm like, I wonder what it would be like if I had a kid with this person, and I can see that they're not really into that. Like they're almost like, I don't really want kids, or they would have to be persuaded into having kids.
I think the way
that would
when it's got to be like a negotiation. It's like I think that like if you the way that they treat you is pretty indicative of how they would raise children. If they're very maternal, very empathetic, very sort of emotionally sensitive to situations and stuff like that. But then again, like there are mothers out there that don't have those traits that still make incredibly good mothers. And like I remember my mum told me this, like when I was born, because I'm the firstborn in our family, like when you have kids as a woman, like your entire psychology and hormone system just completely shifts.
Yeah, I had a family member who I was a little bit concerned because she's married to my brother, and she was like, "I do not want kids. I don't want to have kids." I was like, "Are you fucking listen to my brother? Like, you made a mistake here."
Yeah. I want to be an uncle.
And then they ended up having a kid and she got pregnant and she's literally the best mother ever.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, what a turnaround. Like, I wasn't expecting this.
I think the same thing probably happens. Maybe not with guys, because you see a lot of the absent father things can be quite a common like thing at the moment. But
yeah,
I don't know, man. I just feel like for me specifically, like Dubai, the sort of the dating in Dubai just didn't really give a sense of that ideal. And that's not to say that there's not girls in Dubai that would make fantastic mothers, or that there's the only girls in Dubai are gold diggers or escorts. That's not true at all. But it's again, it comes back to the transient sort of nature of it. Yeah. And the other thing as well is, it's like, you know, if you meet someone in Dubai, then that's the expectation they have. You know, it's the Michelin star dinners, and it's the trips, and it's the palm, and it's the villa, and it's all these things. And it's like, you know, you kind of just want almost a degree of normality in your relationship, at least at the beginning. You know, it's like a lot of guys say that they wish that they'd met someone before they came up and had like a day one, but I don't know if that would be a good thing or not. Like, because it's like you don't know yourself and you don't really know what you want until you are successful enough to have the option to figure it out, you know?
Yeah, and you're probably going to do a little bit of exploring as you go through that phase of winning. Which
I don't know.
Day one is probably not going to be happy with.
Yeah. Well, one thing that's interesting, I think, is when you're a guy and you're like late 20s, like early mid 30s, like you, making friends is strange.
Yeah.
Because it's like you've got all of your day one friends from like school or college, and I've still got like 4 or 5 of my very close friends that I'm good friends with and even work with me at this point. But making new friends in a way that is like non-transactional is fucking hard, man, because
you're always like, how much money is this guy making?
Yeah, like how many followers has he got, and what does he do, and what's on his wrist. And it's like, it's really hard to like form or nurture like normal healthy friendships. Like I met this guy in the gym, his name's Will, and he was we've seen each other in there a couple of times, and he's same age as me, and I went up to him, I was like, hey mate, like, do you want to get a session? He was like, yeah, fuck it, why not? No one does that these days. Yeah. Like, no one's like sociable. And this is in London, and he's like a nice guy, he's like just a normal guy, he works for like the police and stuff, sound guy. And I was like, that's the first time that I've done that in a while. And I was like, yeah, that's how you make normal friends. There's, instead of approaching it from like a, you know, like some sort of transaction. And that I struggled with that in Dubai. The sort of the only way to sort of socialize was to have those dinners. And then you end up sort of like being this, it's just not real, and you don't know what jokes to make, and you don't know if you can really be yourself or not, and it's tough, man. But,
luckily I found a good group of friends out there, but it took a while. It took me a couple of years to find that.
Yeah.
And even then, at the start, I was thinking about, I mean, do they really like who I am, or
clout?
The clout that's associated with it, or like being tagged in my pictures or on the YouTube videos or whatever it might be. And I was like, didn't really think about that.
I used to have that thought of like, you know, when you used to watch like Jake Paul's vlogs, and even David Dobrik's vlogs, and you were like, are you guys actually friends, or are you just follow the leader, like, you know, for the pop tag, the Instagram handle or something like that, man? But
because a lot of them, they ended up building businesses off the back of being in the vlogs.
It's like Corinna Kopf, like the girl from David's vlogs. She's like did the OnlyFans thing, and she's now like
making cake.
She's making like an obscene amount of money, which is like, you know, like, I mean, hats off to her for doing it, you know. Like, I don't necessarily know if I respect the OnlyFans decision, but it's like, you know, just by being around the right person, you can have that sort of trajectory. But I don't know, man. I think when you get to a certain point, though, you just kind of realize you know who's real and who's not.
Yeah.
And I know what you mean, because I had the same thing in Dubai. Like, I made some good friends, and we play like 5-a-side football and stuff, and it was like a proper laugh. But that took like
serious organization.
Yeah, and that's the other thing as well, is then there's Ubers involved, and you can't just go down the pub for a pint and just chat some shit for like 5 minutes. It's like, it's a proper mission, man.
Yeah. You got good friends here.
Loads of good friends here. Yeah, but I've got like, because I got family here.
Yeah.
And then I've got like my 3 closest friends all work with me. So I've got 2 guys on our sales team, 1 guy on our R&D.
That just happened.
It was
through time.
Yeah, it was kind of like it was something that shouldn't have worked, but it did. Because all of my friends from college, like, we all kind of went our own ways, and then I went, like, when I dropped out of uni, I kind of lost contact with everyone, because I was so like A, ashamed, but B, just in this weird like work 100 hours a week and just don't talk to anyone mode. And then like after the apprenticeship, I came up with the agency and sort of made that work. And then I kind of started talking to my old friends again. And to me, I'd been on this sort of lone trajectory, just doing my own thing, thinking that everybody else was making something of themselves. And then like I'd go back to like all of my old friendship groups from college, and everyone was just like same conversation, same pub, same pint, same town. And so that, and then until like a couple of my very close friends from college sort of like, wait, what have you done? What are you doing? Then I kind of got them involved in it, and that's like 3 years ago, and
that's pretty cool.
They're all still involved.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's all good and well until they do anything wrong, but they never have. It's like, you know, I said to them all, I was like, if I'm hiring you, please don't ever put me in the position where I have to fire you.
Yeah.
It's like that would suck and ruin our friendship.
Yeah. So I'm not really experiencing what it's like to live in London anymore, obviously. I've been in Dubai for 6 years. Is all this stuff that's going around social media true, or is it, you think,
like what?
Like all the negativity about all London has become a complete shithole?
Well, to frame it, I live in Kensington.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like the royal borough of Kensington and Chelsea. Like there's no crime there. Like I've been here for 6 months. I've had a lot more of a life and a lot more social interaction and stuff. The worst thing I've seen happen is someone's bag got stolen. Like some guy in a bar tried to like grab some guy's rucksack, and then the bartender like pulled him back. And it's like, you definitely, like when I got back to London, it was actually quite hilarious how frightened I was, because I landed off of my fucking Emirates first class flight, got my remote out and started dragging it down the thing, you know, as you do. And then like, I didn't need to mention any of those things, whatever. And and we were waiting in this Airbnb for this Airbnb outside, and the Airbnb was locked. And we'd arrived in it would have been April the 10th or 11th or whatever. It was quite cold. It's getting dark, and it was like, you know, like 6 p.m. And then like my business partner and I, we were outside and we were waiting for this Airbnb. We were trying to call the guy. He wasn't able to give us the key or whatever. We were waiting for half an hour. And every time a group of guys would walk past, like hoods up, like hands in pockets, I was like, oh fuck, we're gonna get stuck. And I was like, wait, I've lived here for 25 years prior to this, and that's never happened. But the thing is it's like the social media vacuum of like London's bad. It's definitely not as safe as Dubai, and it's definitely not as like clean as Dubai and all these things. But I had to catch myself. I was like, what am I scared of happening? I just became so brainwashed into thinking that I was going to get stabbed. But I love it here, man. Yeah. And you know, the taxes suck, and there's 101 reasons as to why London isn't amazing and stuff, and why the UK's not amazing, and you know, things like that. But for me, for my commercial interests, for my business, London is where I kind of have to be.
Why is that?
Because I want to have an office.
You got a team,
engineering team, sales team, etc. On top of that, also as well as time zone stuff. And yeah, you know, it's not without its.
So are you currently trying to build a piece of software right now? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's so we're keeping it a little on the old DL, but we're basically in the process of building a B2B software, specifically to begin with for our clients. So our entire business is about helping businesses with client acquisition. So like, you know, we help agency owners, coach consultants with like sales funnels, appointment booking, and like we're the fucking best at it. I love it to bits. It's all I care about. It's all I think about. So we're really good at it. But there's a specific like issue that a lot of people face from a sales and marketing perspective. And I'm not going to, I'll tell you after. Otherwise I'm not going to give it away to everyone. Otherwise I'll know what I'm doing. I'll keep it secret. And
steal your idea.
Yeah. And it's not the idea that it's just more like to cards close to your chest.
Yeah.
And there's a problem that we have that no software currently solves that's quite big. And if we solve that problem, it would mean an extra, you know, $500K a year for us. So I'm like, I can build a software and develop something that, albeit is actually quite hard to do, because, you know, we've had to find like a whole technical co-founder and build an engineering team to solve it. But that's in development, and we're going to try and launch that probably March to June next year. And we'll start with our clients. But it makes a lot of sense. And that's also why we made the Academy free.
Yeah.
Is because like by that point of launch, we'll have like 150,000 people in there, 25 to 30,000 of which will have actually gone through and done it, got results to some degree, and can then register for the software. Because when you get enough people to trust you and, you know, love your content, anything you release, as you're well aware, is going to be well received. Yeah. And so that's my sort of plan to bootstrap the software and at least get to like 10 to 20 million a year, which then gives you a 100 to 200 mil valuation, which then you can loan against and buy anything you want and raise and stuff. But that's kind of the phase one plan.
Who owns School at the moment?
Sam Evans.
So has he got 100%, or did he give equity to Hormozi?
Well, Hormozi's got a chunk of it. We also invest in School. Okay. So it's interesting because what Sam did at the beginning, which was really clever, is when School was kind of like a little twinkle in his eye, it wasn't really anything, significant, at least not as much as it is now. He sold lots of equity not lots, but a minimal amounts of equity compared to how much he owns to all of his mastermind clients. And so a lot of them have equity, and then every now and then one of them pops up and will try and buy it because obviously School shares at the moment are amazing. But then he brought Hormozi on. I don't know. Well, it's rumored as to how much Hormozi owns, but it's none of my fucking business, quite frankly. But Hormozi has a chunk, which then obviously brought School to the point where it's at now. But they're rounding out the year with 20 million users, and like they're valued at like an obscene amount of money now.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's going to be like, I think this time I would estimate that this time next year, School will probably have about 100 million users, which then puts it into the category of the largest, fastest growing social media platform, except from like Facebook and stuff, like the fastest new one. Because there's not really any new social media platforms that have blown up or...
No, well, there's obviously, Iman got involved with WAP. Yeah. I don't know the figures of WAP, probably doing quite...
I know they've processed like 3 billion or something. Like they're also a big player. Like, respect to those guys, because I've realized the software thing, like it makes info look like a walk in the park.
Yeah,
like it makes the agency space or the info business just look so easy, because like now you've actually got to like program this thing and like and it's not as tangible, but it's interesting, it's fun.
Yeah, because you have an idea of how you want something to work, and you're like, make that, and the developers like
it's
because I've had that experience with the app. I'm like,
yeah, why can't it just be? Why can't it just be red?
Like, yeah, do you know how much time it takes to create that little function?
Yeah, because it's also because what I've realized is it's all non-linear, so everything connects to everything. So if you make that little change there, you've got to change 10 things here, and then 3 things down here, and then
if you don't do it properly, it fucks up the whole thing.
Yeah, and then suddenly now it's in German.
Yeah,
it's a hard shit, and all the bugs and stuff, man. But yeah, it's good.
Awesome, man. I think we're going to wrap it up here because we have to.
We got to vacate the studio.
But that's been good conversation, and I look forward to seeing what you're building.
We'll have to do this again next year.
Yeah,
and then we can see if my predictions are right and if everything works out. So.
Yeah,
but
good stuff, man.
Awesome, man.
Where can people find you?
Just YouTube. It's Charlie Morgan.
Oh
yeah, or the hat.
Yeah.
Is this going to be flipped, or like because obviously you can read it, right?
Yeah, no, I think it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. School.com/academy.
Yeah.
If you want to learn how to start a business or make money online, it's completely free. Go and check it out.
Yeah, the YouTube channel is very good as well.
Yeah, or just Charlie Morgan on YouTube. Yeah. Nice one.
Nice.
Cancel me.
Adios.
Cheers, guys.